Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 11th of September 2012, and rapid intensification through the overnight hours from our tropical depression that we were talking about yesterday. Now it is Tropical Storm Sanba. You can see here the clear center of circulation, that moisture coming in from the west. Also, a very decent moisture outflow and inflow coming in from the northeast. A little bit dry air off here towards the north, but all in all, the storm has gained some rapid intensity. Currently, about 35 knot sustained winds with gusts upwards of about 50 knots as it continues to track off here on a west-northwesterly progression. But really, at this time, one of the main problems that we're going to be seeing with the storm system, and it already looks like it is occurring, is this inflow coming in from the west. Look at these thunderstorm activities over portions of Mindanao and Visayas already at this time. This is that enhanced monsoonal flow we've been talking about here, and this is going to be bringing that risk of some flooding and even landslides. Some areas could be seeing upwards of about 50 to 60 millimeters in a 1 hour period. Would not be surprised if we see over 200 to 300 millimeters in the next 24 hours, all the way from about here towards the south across portions of Visayas here and down towards Mindanao, as that flow and that moisture starts to work a little bit farther inland out of the South China Sea over towards where this storm is. So with that said, flooding, but landslides, especially on those steeper elevations and these volcanic islands, those are going to be very prone of this as it starts to work its way off there towards the north. At least at this time, though, Bagasse is still calling this a active low pressure area, yet the Japan Meteorological Agency has upgraded it, and also the Joint Typhoon Warning Center out of Pearl Harbor. Actually, right here, we can put up their track and their forecast, and at this time, moving off on a west-northwesterly progression. The Japan Meteorological Agency also looking at a very similar track here. If we pull that, having the storm track off and more on a northerly progression, then turning slightly towards the west-northwest. Given the lack of steering flow across this entire area due to its tropical ridge, I do think that it will be slowing down here as well and slightly turning towards the west-northwest. Once again, though, that's going to spell some bad news across the Philippines here, because if it does continue to slow down and go on this progression, and moisture inflow will continue to flow across portions of Luzon there, grabbing that very warm sea surface temperatures out of there, out of the west. Actually, around this area, we showed you a chart yesterday showing these upwards of about 30 to 33 degrees. So absolutely an abundant amount of latent heat. So at this time, though, the Japan Meteorological Agency is expecting this to continue to intensify. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center, or JTWC, also is saying that this will be upgrading to a typhoon status as we go into the end of the week, with those winds getting upwards of about 65 to 70 knots sustained, when the pressure is also dropping down near 970 HPA, where they're expecting to continue to go. That's usually about the threshold where JMA tends to upgrade their tropical systems into typhoons. Now here, looking at the streamline analysis, this is what I'm talking about, and this is the major factor that's going to be playing in where the storm will eventually be going as it tracks there on that west-northwesterly progression, maybe even a little bit farther towards the west. You definitely have to remember there is a cone of air here, so anywhere in here, but where it goes into the next 48 hours is what's really going to be causing a significant change in the track. You have this high pressure right here. Now, if it goes just towards the east of it, definitely will try to work into this little weakness in the subtropical ridge, run off towards Japan. If it goes a little bit towards the west, it could eventually turn towards Taiwan, even move through the Luzon Strait. So a very difference in options here with this storm system at this time. Dynamical models also pulling up on a little bit lack of consistency. But the GFS model outlook has been rather decent at initializing the storm system. So I'm going to go ahead and show this to you really quick here. And at least over the next 48 hours, it has it gradually intensifying, then pulling off there towards the north. It's going with option A, which would be to the right of that high pressure ridge, and eventually impacting around the southern Japan Islands as it does go on that northerly progression. So definitely still going to be watching the storm system at this time. My personal thoughts here, just my personal opinions here at westernpacificweather.com, would be that it would probably go on this west-northwesterly progression, moving off there around 20 degrees north, well towards the east of Luzon. That is my opinion at this time, though, but if that high pressure remains in place, I would put that cone of air over towards here. If it does weaken, I would put it over towards this area. I know there's a cone of air, so always remember that there's that wide swath, but regardless of if it goes on any of these particular paths, Still that moisture inflow coming in from the west. So if you do not see a landfalling tropical system in the Philippines, I would still strongly stress to get prepared for some heavy rains and the risk of some possibility of severe flooding and landslides due to that tropical storm moving off the west coast there and that moisture inflow coming in across the South China Sea. So definitely still going to be watching the storm system through the coming days. We're also looking at another area just towards the west of Luzon, but I think if this one strengthens up enough, it's just going to steal the energy out of that and pull it across Luzon. So that is going to be playing and also a major risk into this at this time. But still, watching this gradually intensify. It's a little bit of shear on the northern periphery. You have a shear line right in there. You can see it here on that visible satellite imagery. But all in all, it is still expected to intensify and has gained some rapid intensification. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. Also, I am thinking about doing a live interactive update this evening, probably right around 14 to 15 Universal Time, so a fairly late one, but if you do want to stay up for that, please do stop by. If you have any questions or comments for that chat, also you can put those in the comment section below, and I will answer them at the chat. We have all those stuff lined up, so we do not have to wait for everybody to kind of sign on and wait for those questions to be answered. So thanks again for watching, though. Please stay safe out there, and have a great day. Bye.